Knockouts and knockdowns are the most exciting aspect of striking sports such as MMA and boxing. Sure, a good submission is always welcome, but nothing gets the fans as hyped as watching someone get ripped from consciousness in a split second. We made other videos about what happens to someone when they get knocked out and the physiological causes, so be sure to check those out as well. As we know, knockouts are caused by concussions, particularly bad ones, and the instant symptoms are unconsciousness, nausea, headaches, and loss of short-term memory, among others. But what happens days, weeks, or months after someone suffers a bad knockout? Is their brain changed and damaged forever? Or can it be healed 100% through proper care and rest? In this video, we will discuss the aftermath of knockouts and what fighters go through during the healing process. Knockouts and concussions are serious injuries with serious repercussions. Every fight fan who has been around the sport a while can probably pick out a few fighters who have taken too much damage and been knocked out too many times for their own good, who will likely one day be showing signs of CTE. For a long time, it was thought that the damage done to the brain from a bad concussion was permanent, but recent research suggests otherwise. Everyone knows the short-term effects of a concussion, and typical recovery consists of rest for a 70-day period before these effects subside. But the mistake that is commonly made is thinking that after this time frame, an athlete is ready to get back to training. In MMA and boxing, this means going back to being punched in the head, which new findings suggest could be the fatal mistake to someone's longevity and career. Although most athletes can recover quickly, approximately 10% of athletes studied had persistent symptoms after 2 weeks from the time of the concussion, and approximately 80% of athletes required upwards of 3 months to recover completely. There are many factors that influence someone's recovery, such as age, sex, and concussion history, the latter being more important for combat sports. Those athletes with persistent symptoms can develop Postconcussion Syndrome, which is defined as deficits in attention and memory and at least 3 of the following symptoms: fatigue, insomnia, headache, dizziness, irritability, apathy, or personality changes. These symptoms can be subjective though and easily ignored. If a fighter is irritable after a bad loss or has a headache or fatigue after hard training, it can be easy to overlook. The danger comes when athletes who have not fully recovered return to training, which is where the damage to the brain becomes permanent. A concussion is caused by damage to the neurons by the brain bouncing back and forth in your head, and a knockout is caused when the damage accumulates so much that your brain has to shut off to try and protect itself. After a concussion, the brain is in a fragile state trying to heal all the damaged neurons, and this can take a long time, and additional trauma or stress can permanently halt the healing process. Now, how many fighters do you think take 3 full months off from any hard training after a knockout or even a knockdown? The answer is not many, if any at all. Most of them will return to training once they feel better and the first couple weeks have passed, and some will even fight again before the 3 months are up. An example is Michael Bisping, who got knocked down by GSP, who had a 3-week turnaround to fight Kelvin Gastelum, which ended with Bisping getting knocked out. It's not uncommon to see fighters try to make quick turnarounds after a tough fight or a bad loss, but even the act of returning to training could be life-altering. It's hard to say why this happens so much. Maybe it's stubbornness by the athletes, genuinely thinking that they've recovered 100%, or just an overall lack of understanding of post-concussion care. Unlike prior beliefs, it is possible to recover either completely or almost completely from concussions if proper care and rest are implemented. This could mean not even hitting the heavy bag for up to 2 months after a concussion, which can be really difficult to convince fighters to do. Athletes who suffer from post-concussion syndrome begin to risk permanent life-altering changes to their brain. Knowledge of traumatic brain injuries and proper recovery has been increasing universally, but it still has a long way to go. After all, we want to see our favorite fighters live a long, happy life for the decades left after they retire. Few things are as heartbreaking as a fight fan watching a fighter you love take unnecessary punishment and put themselves in dangerous positions. We now see more and more fighters taking their longevity into account in their fights, careers, and training, and hopefully that is a trend that continues to remain on the rise. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for future content.